You're watching the Illinois Players Show on the Fan Media Network. I'm Patrick Quinn, and he is, of course, Marcus Liberty. All right. I don't know how much sleep you got after last night's big win, Marcus, but Illinois trounced Michigan on the road. How do you feel about that?
Great. I feel great, man. I was so excited, man, when, I didn't even get a chance to watch it live, but I record all of Illinois' games. But it was a guy, he's in my program, and he's a big Michigan fan. So he had his Michigan gear on at practice yesterday. He said, what do you think about the game? I'll be calling you. He said, I'll be calling you at halftime when we jump out on top of Illinois. And I'm like, okay, make sure you call me.
Did you get that call?
I knew something was wrong because I never got a text message from him. And then I get text messages from people saying Illinois is slaughtering them. They dominating them and this and that. So I was like, I gotta. And then I ended up calling you and saying, Patrick, what was that final score? And then you told me the final score. And then I came home and watched it, man. I said, wow.
Yeah, that's amazing how that works out. That's why I try not to trash talk before, especially big games, because it never works out for me, especially. But I was caught up in the moment. I was watching the celebration on Twitter, the team in the locker room, throwing the water all over the place in the locker room, celebrating. Coach Underwood getting involved. And did you see the Instagram live, what they do on the Instagram live? That's something in itself if you get a chance.
The Illinois fans and alums like myself, and we loving it. Seeing this team go out and compete and have fun, the coaching staff, celebrating in the locker room, jumping up and down, showering. It lets them know that they are loved and cared for when you see your coach getting involved. Sometimes most coaches step away and let the team celebrate, but he's in it with them. And I think that's huge. I think that's huge for the Illini players. And then as fans and up and coming, players that want to come and join, you see your coach doing that. You're like, man, he's going to bat for us.
Yeah, you're like, I got to get in on those celebrations, because all those practices, when he's yelling, when he's screaming at you, when he's showing you that tough love, that's where you get the reward, right?
No doubt. And there's nothing wrong with that. I try to tell people all the time, when a coach is screaming at you, don't miss the message. Don't listen to the tone. Don't think of the tone as being, he don't like me. Listen to the message. And that's so important.
That's absolutely important. I will second that, man. So I was also looking at some of the stats, because Io didn't play and they just did not need him. Frazier was the leading scorer. I believe he had 17 points for Illinois.
I think he made a Frazier. I think he had 22.
Yeah, 22. Yeah, his 22 points is what it was.
And Cabello had 17.
That's what it was. Cabello had 17. Frazier had 22. That was the game high. And then Kofi had 12. And think about that. You win a game where Kofi only has 12 points. But he made Dickinson get into foul trouble.
Yes, he did. And to keep his composure, I don't think Kofi went out there and says, you know what, let me try to score 20-something points. He saw that the other guys were rolling. Sure, he got some big baskets when they needed it, but he was out there just having fun and loving it, watching, Trent and seeing Adam Miller start to knock down some shots and seeing how pumped up he was. And Cabello, started it off. He was hot in the first half. It was like a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah, everybody was getting involved. And we can see as fans that Io DeSumo is not the entire team. Illinois could win big games without Io DeSumo. And Michigan prepared for Io DeSumo. Juwan Howard, the head coach of Michigan, said he prepared. He didn't even know that Io was not going to play until the game started.
Well, I would say, Io is a great basketball player, but when you focusing all your energy on one player, then yeah, that would mess everything up because that was your game plan to probably stop him. And look what happened.
Yeah, and the game tempo was Illinois' tempo the entire way. They kept the game speed going constantly. Illinois was always in control. And the other big thing that I noticed is that, Illinois couldn't miss. That's the great thing.
Their defense was dope. I watched the defense. When I replayed the game last night, I was like, I want to know really what was going on. They defense. They pressured the ball. They made them take tough shots. They got out and ran in open court. That's Illinois basketball. Coach Underwood is bringing a different type of style to the Big Ten. And I think that's what happened the last game. Michigan State and Ohio State, they try to punch and try to slow them down that way. But this is a new generation of basketball. And we seeing it right in front of our eyes at the University of Illinois in the Big Ten.
And I'm loving every minute of it. So I don't want to dwell too much on past wins. I like to look forward, but I do like it when a guy like Juwan Howard says that going and watching the game film today is going to be like watching a horror film. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it may have looked as a horror film to his team, but it was spectacular as an Illinois fan watching what Illinois did to them. So I don't know what we would call that movie from us looking at it, but from Michigan and the coaching staff and the fans at Michigan, yeah, they probably looked at it as Nightmare on Elm Street.
So when they're watching Nightmare on Elm Street today, are they going to watch the entire game, or is he going to circle, on film, hey, this is what was wrong, you're in the wrong spot, how could you let this guy do that to you? Or are they just going to watch just a little snippet of the game film? What do you think?
I would think he's watched the whole thing, because you have to understand what really happened and where did it happen. Was it at the start of the game? Because it was 10-10 at one time.
Yes, it was.
So was it, we got a little comfortable because now we knew that Io wasn't going to play, so our defense intensity level dropped. What was it? And we all know video, it doesn't lie.
Never lies.
So what you see on the video is going to be facts. So I can understand what Juwan is thinking. How can I get my team to look at this and use it for our next game?
Because there's the potential that they could play Michigan 2 more times, the Big Ten tournament and then the NCAA tournament. Because the NCAA tournament, the people who put the teams in that tournament, they have a good sense of humor. They do. You know all about playing Michigan in the tournament.
Yes, man. And if that happens, let's hope it can turn around the opposite way. We beat them twice.
Yes.
In 1989, and then lost to them when it counted. So let's change it. Let's change that narrative a little bit. So now we get that win. We celebrate. We cut the nets down. Please.
Because something tells me if that does happen, if they do face Michigan in the tournament, your phone is going to be ringing off the hook, my friend. You're going to be getting calls along with all your teammates from the Flying Illini.
And I'm going to accept every last one of them. I'm going to enjoy every last one of the calls.
So before we go, let's look ahead to Ohio State. E.J. Liddell, Mr. Basketball from Belleville West. You know him very well. You've seen his game. What should we expect with Ohio State on Saturday?
Anytime a kid that's from the state or nearby, Chicago, and get an opportunity to play in the state championship, Mr. Basketball of Illinois, those kids want to be recruited heavily by the state school. I don't know if Illinois recruited him hard or they offered him and he figured that they didn't want him. I don't know, but he's at Ohio State. He's in there to say, you know what, you didn't give me that offer or you didn't come after me hard. I'm at Ohio State. I'm going to show you what you missed.
So he's going to take it personal when Illinois comes to Columbus on Saturday.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And he's a hell of a player. He's not, your typical power forward. He has some guard skills. He can shoot the three-pointer. He can dribble the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He's athletic, so Coffee will have his hands full when they play him.
All right, Marcus Liberty, we're getting ready to play Ohio State on Saturday. I thank you for your time on the Fan Media Network.
To host a player show or appear as a player on a player show, simply create a profile on Fan Media's iOS app or website. Select your teams and make a short intro video on your phone. Show hosts, reporters, former players, and superfans can use our Get Verified feature and make an intro video as well, and our mobile newsroom staff will reach out.